Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Are you on the fence with making the shift from steel shafts to graphite shafts in your irons? If so, then I'm going to completely blow your mind and help you understand why you just might want to make the shift once and for all. So without further delay, let's jump in. Now, before we get too deep in today's video, there's one piece of information I want to share with everybody, and that is I'm no longer just looking at my high handicappers or senior golfers when I'm thinking about making a shift to graphite. You heard me loud and clear. I will sometimes pull graphite for my better players with faster swing speeds just because it beats the pants off of their steel counterparts. And in today's video, I'm going to share the 3 primary reasons why you may want to make the shift, and I'm going to throw a 4th reason just for shits and grins at the very end. So let's jump in and talk about the first reason, which is launch. And there's no secret, if you're struggling with getting the ball up in the air, or better yet, being able to hold those greens with those perfect landing angles, then making a switch to graphite can definitely help. And the way it's able to help is by its ability to be able to influence the dynamic loft and impact. If you're someone like myself who struggles hitting down on the ball as much as like 7 to 8 degrees down, or maybe you're struggling with that hip sway where the hips get in front of the body, hands get pressed forward, and you're de-lofting the club, both of those would be 2 big no-nos that's going to only make the problem worse. Let's take a look at my current gamer, which is the Mizuno Pro 223 with the Project X LZ 6.0 shafts, and see how they perform. And when we take a look at the numbers, this is exactly what I'm seeing in the real world, which has me itching to try something else. Average carry, about 154 with a total distance of 165. I'm not holding any greens whatsoever, and definitely that sucks. Apexes, around 78, 80 feet in the air with a land angle of averaging about 43. There's nothing good about those results. Ball speed even sucks. I mean, take a look, guys. I mean, averaging about 109. At my swing speed of 87, I should definitely be able to get in the high 110s, if not low 120s. I just know I'm not finding the center of face or the sweet spot to really optimize that ball flight. And once again, when you take a look at these 3 delivery columns, AOA's down, club path out to in, face to path open, right? With that dynamic loft being right around 23, 24 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and cross off the 17 and 11. It's probably a misread, probably caught it just a hair fat. But the other ones, pretty spot on accurate. That's what I see. So if I can actually influence the shot outcome by just changing the components and take the pressure off the technique, why wouldn't I? So that's exactly what we're going to do now. So I'm going to use the exact same head, same swing weight, same everything. The only difference is the Accra I-Series 2 shaft, but it's in the 110 gram weight category. Here I didn't want to go to the other end of the spectrum. I wanted to kind of keep that same weight to make sure it doesn't affect my timing or tempo, but 110, not too far off from the LZ shafts I'm currently gaming. But I am expecting to see not only that dynamic loft improve, but I am also expecting to see the second element that graphite shafts can often help with, and that is the speed element. So you see my numbers, wasn't happy with them whatsoever. Here, what I'm hoping is that I'm going to see a little bit more input that can help me just get a little bit more output while also improving my dynamic loft. So let's take a look. Full transparency, I did try a number of shafts before I settled on the Accra, but this is exactly what I would expect to see when things go accordingly to plan. And we do know that sometimes they don't always, fall in place. But this one was perfect textbook illustration of what I would hope to see out of a fitting process. And no secret, the Accras are going to make my bag. And the cool thing is, it's a retrofit. I just had to find a better dance partner, and let's take a look at the numbers. So 109 output versus 120. That's almost an 11-mile-an-hour jump. Now, let's take a look at the input. Input was 86.4 versus 89.9. So 3.5 miles an hour of input gain that netted almost 11-mile-an-hour increase. Why? Better quality of strike. And this is definitely attributed to the shaft. So for those that don't believe the golf shaft matters, it does. Right? So let's get back to the ball side. So when we take a look, net output was 174 carry versus 155 carry. Now guys, don't think that this was a 2-club gain, because it wasn't, because my original club was rolling out to 166. But it's better because I'm getting it higher, I'm landing it softer, and I'm just really able to carry those numbers where I really should be. Now, we already know that graphite shafts helped us check the speed component box. Now we just need to verify and see how it was able to help us check off the dynamic loft, apex, and those landing angles to get us the additional distance. When we take a look at dynamic loft, before we were setting around 23.1, now we're at 25.4, and the last 3 shots have really started to get into a nice groove. So I would probably say new dynamic loft is going to float around 26, 27, so really stoked about that. But you might scratch your head going, well, how was you able to do that if you didn't change your technique? Well, we need to look no further than the angle of attack. The average angle of attack with steel was 6.9 down. So it was more abrasive, more stiff. It just felt like a piece of rebar. The graphite, it actually was kicking through a little bit. So getting out of trail deflection, passing the hands a little bit to add a little bit more dynamic loft. So we went from 6.9 down to 4.7 down. It did exactly what we wanted, and it netted out, when we switched to the ball side, 79 average apex to 101 apex, and landing angle 43 to 46.8. Graphite shafts also helped us check off this element as well, because apex, dynamic loft, and landing angles were all improved. So that's 2 elements crossed off our list, bringing us to our third and final element, which comes down to the toll that steel shafts has on our body, especially as we get up in age. There's no secret that heavy steel shafts can wreak havoc on your joints and your muscles, and making the shift to graphite can definitely give you some additional shock dampening attributes that steel just cannot. And I can tell you with no joke that this shaft felt so much better. I didn't feel like I had to muscle it, didn't feel like I was swinging a piece of rebar, and it just felt easier and smoother to swing through the ball, and the net result was like the added bonus. So not only is my body going to thank me, but my golf game is surely going to thank me. So I almost forgot our 4th bonus nugget that we promised at the start of the video. So if you're still with us, check this out. The number 1 thing you're searching for in the ideal golf shaft, so be it steel or graphite, is a tight stamp pattern. Tighten it up on the face, and I promise you this will often lead to better consistency, tighter groupings, and you're just simply going to hit more good shots and less bad shots. So tighten up that strike pattern, and I promise you, you'll be on your way to playing some really damn good golf. So in closing, we truly hope you found value in the material we presented to you today. If you did, please do us a favor and smash that thumbs up. And if you're still on the fence with making the shift from steel to graphite, or if you have any other questions, please do me a favor. Just leave them in the remarks below, and I'll do my very best to help you find the answers to the questions you're searching for. So until next week, thanks for watching.